It's
Okay.
an echo of the world that is dreary and dark, infested with undead, and people can tap into it to cast evil magic rituals the same way that some people can tap into the Feywild to cast fairy magic. The first thing looking at this ritual, you're copying it down intently, is that this is a binding ritual, and what it's meant to do is bind a spirit that has unknowingly slipped into the Shadowfell. And the realization that hits you is that this must have been what happened to Raazu. If you complete this ritual, it will bind her spirit and it will be lost to you.
So, Birdie looks down, he looks up, he puts his arms together in an X and a no-go gesture. Like, I don't think Wendy was going to, like, have us complete the ritual anyway.
Yeah, as soon as you do that, Wendy gives you a look like, yeah, you think?
And then I'll write in the margins what I think it does.
Speaking of Raazu,
Hi.
your whole little alcove is piled with books, and you've got some sitting on the alcove opposite you as well.
Just too much to read now. Holy crap.
And you can't remember the last time you stood up or ate a meal. And periodically, the figure comes back to deliver more books. Usually it's to bring you tomes, and he always says the same thing, as you've requested. Once in a while, though, he says something a little different. He comes up instead, and he says, time to collect. And he holds out just this flat, what looks like a ledger. Like a ream of paper that you can... like a notebook, essentially, with a black covering. And he opens it up and flips to a certain page. You can see it's very old. And all he does is he holds it out to you and has you press your thumb down to it. You always just go through this very, very swiftly. Like, yeah, whatever you need, and then let me get back to work. So now we get to see how many times this has happened. Go ahead and roll me a D10. You know what? It probably hasn't been that long yet. Roll me a D4.
D4. Hiya. 3.
Okay, reduce your maximum hit points by 3.
Sure.
Every time he comes around, he has you just press your thumb to this thing and hold it there for a second. You're always very impatient. He's very graceful and just lets you get back to your studies.
Whoa, what the hell? Oh. Because I tried to override my maximum hit points, and somehow I put my hit points to 1.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
That never happened if you had a paper character sheet.
No, I figured it out.
World's most expensive library. It's like Hoopla for assholes.
The problem with a paper character sheet, though, because there are problems, is that they're only as good as the player who's keeping them. And I've literally seen a player take the Shield Master feat, and they never used it properly. And when I looked at the sheet, they had just written Shield Master does something with my shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems right.
That's
Like,
true.
oh. I mean, they weren't
Are
wrong.
they wrong?
Meanwhile,
No,
back in Peter Thiel's library.
No,
Raazu.
does this guy bring, like, if can I ask for, like, a decanter of wine or something like that?
You,
Or just...
well, make a wisdom saving throw. Or fail it purposely if you want.
21. No. 22.
You press your thumb to the ledger this time, and he clasps his hands together and bows slightly and is backing away from you. And you suddenly realize that you have cotton mouth to the point that, like, you have to smack your mouth together a few times just to get the saliva moving, and it's dry and dusty, and it dawns on you that you can't remember the last time you've eaten a meal. And you manage to tear yourself away from the book long enough to lift your head up and ask him for a decanter of wine. And you hear your own voice for the first time in what seems like forever. And you see, for the first time again, the other alcoves in the area across the way from you. One of these alcoves, you have some of your own books filling up, and you look at the ground and you see a skeleton laying on the floor that you vaguely remember brushing aside so you had more space to put your books on his chair. You see the alcove behind him, there's another skeleton in the chair, just draped over the table in front of him. And looking at the end of the hall, the other alcove at the end, you see the same thing again. And this realization hits you that you're not in Kansas anymore, and you might be in serious trouble.
Yeah, I'm not playing along with this anymore. Look for a way out of here.
Hey, what do you do?
Walk out of the alcove and look down the hallway. Is it still the library where I expect my companions are?
Come out of the room, and it is indeed the library, and has the same stairways, one leading up, one leading down, and the shelves are filled with books, absolutely packed.
This isn't right. But Raazu actually vocalizes this, and can she hear her own voice here?
Yes.
She calls out the.
You also
names
no
of her
longer have a
companions.
torch, and you're not sure how you were reading for so long without a light source. I mean, you still have the torch; it's just it long ago burned out.
Raazu calls out for her companions by name.
And as you call out, the dingy little man, you see him enter into the library. You're not sure from where. He just comes around one of the bookshelves, and his hands are still clasped together, and he holds a single finger up to the shadow of his hood and says that you must remain quiet, and then bids you return to your studies.
No, I'm not doing that. Where am I? What have you done with my friends?
And he implores you, lower your voice. And he tells you that your friends have not yet arrived. And should you like to be notified when they come. And then he bids you return to your studies.
Raazu puts her back up against the wall over here.
Okay.
Folds her arms across her chest. And just starts watching back and forth, kind of thousand yard stare.
Just scanning the room?
Yes.
Okay. And after a few moments of this, the shadowy figure in the hood disappears from view. He walks back behind some bookshelves.
Once he disappears from view, I'm going to go back around over here
Okay.
and try to go down the stairs.
You go down the stairs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You come down the stairs into the alchemy room. However, this time, you still see the posts, the parts that are fixed to the floor, but there are no knobs. There's no bowls. Looking at the shelf along the back wall, the cupboards stand open, and there's no ingredients. The place looks ransacked, other than one or two overturned bowls and a few just slivers of candle wax. In the alcove of this room, you're aware of a pair of eyes peering at you from the darkness. You do have your dark vision, yes?
Yes.
Okay, you're not lighting a torch?
No.
Okay. Then you're just aware of a pair of eyes. Just pinpoints of silver in this alcove that follow you as you step down. You hear a raspy voice. Raazu, what?
Raazu pulls her trident off her back, but she doesn't ready it yet. But she's looking very intently at that pair of eyes. Right back in between, like
Staring at it, getting your trident ready, you hear a dry, raspy voice. Sounds like paper sliding together. And it asks questioningly if you're lost. Just the single word. Lost?
would seem so. Who are you?
And it repeats, but this time not a question. Lost. And then the eyes begin to move towards you, and you're aware of a 6-armed figure.
That's close enough, friend. Who are you?
And it does not stop moving towards you. And its arms begin to fan out, 3 on each side of its shoulders. I'm going to say it's purple for no reason.
It was made for hugging.
Yep. Purple people eater.
And it leaves the alcove and moves past the first pole. And it's moving very unsuredly.
That's far enough. Raazu calls that again.
And it continues to move towards you.
Roll initiative.
You're going to beat it on initiative because it's terrible.
Yeah, I rolled a 14. That was...
Yeah, it rolled much less than that.
Is it terrible or horrible?
Yes.
Radiant action. If it tries to attack me, I'm going to attack it back with vengeance.
What if it tries to touch you, but it's not an attack?
That's a very loaded question.
It's a pertinent question.
If it tries to, if it makes any move toward me, it's getting attacked.
Then you might as well not even ready in action because it's not going to stop moving towards you.
Okay then. Yeah, no, Raazu strikes out with their trident.
Okay. Do that.
Killing it instantly, no save.
Why would it get a save? She's making it a hit roll.
It's a 21 to hit.
That'll hit.
Yeah, I'm putting some stank on this.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, so that's 2, level 1, level 2, level 3, plus 2 extra d8s, because I'm level 12 now. This is going to be some numbers.
I should hope so.
Alright, that is going to be 10 cold damage.
Okay.
And 33 thunder damage. If it's a fiend, then I have to add another d8 onto that.
It is not.
Okay.
But you're going with cold damage and not piercing?
Yes.
Okay. And the thing, which you kind of see now, it's a humanoid shape, except it has 6 arms instead of 2. And where a typical humanoid, their arms would end at hands with digits. These ones, after the joint of the elbow, they fan out into what looks like sickle blades.
Okay, yeah. Alright.
And you catch it square in the chest, and you hear this loud clap of thunder ring out that echoes up the stairs, shakes the walls, and the thing recoils from the hit as though terrified. And it says, in an almost, in a very shocked and surprised tone of its hollow, raspy voice, it says, "Lost." And then it tries to hug you.
Actually, I do have a second attack.
Do you?
Yeah.
It's got 6 arms, so it's good at hugging.
That's a 19 to hit.
19 will hit.
Let's do that again. 6 cold damage. 23 thunder damage.
And again, the sound of the thunder echoes all throughout the tower. And the thing is horribly bloodied. I mean, you're piercing into flesh and bone, and you're pulling back gore and blood. Moving or staying put?
Staying put.
Okay. Then yeah, it tries to hug you. 14 to hit.
Nope.
As the thing closes in and steps forward, it tries to wrap its long sickle arms around you into an embrace. But it does so very clumsily, just telegraphing all of its movements. And you're able to interpose your trident and knock the arms away from you.
Alright.
And now that it's this close, you can see the features on the thing's face, and it looks confused and sorrowful. Like it doesn't understand why you're hurting it. Which I'm assuming you're about to do again.
That's correct. That's a 21 to hit.
That'll hit.
It's not going to be 8 off of that. Don't want to burn all of my charges all at once here. So it's not 2d8 off of that. I'll get rid of that 8 right there. That's going to be 7 cold damage.
Okay.
21 thunder damage.
And you stab through this thing one more time, and this time when you wrench your trident out of its ribcage, it collapses to the ground. And at first it slumps to the ground in a pile of flesh and bone, as you're typically used to when you kill goblins or Birdie or whatever. But as it hits the ground, it starts to dissolve into just this black, shadowy cloud that fans out across the floor of the room, that comes up halfway up your boots, and then slowly evaporates to nothing.
Alright, then...
you guys... Still standing up in the library, yes?
Yep.
You hear
What's
a
up?
very loud clatter behind you, somewhere in the vicinity of the shelves. The loudest thing you've heard since you got to this place. It makes all of
check
you
it out.
jump and startle.
Birdie pees a little.
What is it?
A little...
Was it Was it thunderous in nature, or was it just a noise?
No, it's a noise, like a clattering sound, like something falling off a shelf.
I'm gonna go try to find out what it was.
And Wendy, coming back into the library area, there's a book laying on the ground that wasn't before. That's laying somewhat open, like some force just knocked it off the shelf. And whoever comes in behind Wendy that has eyes can see that it's the skin book that Raazu took back into the alcove.
What? Adrex picks up the book and opens it.
Okay? And as you reach down to pick up the book, your fingers go through it and it vanishes like mist.
Well, that was dumb. Adrex says to himself, and no one can hear.
Everybody sees Adric's mouth, and that was dumb.
No, everyone doesn't see that.
Well, Raazu doesn't. She's not here.
Wendy's going to check the shelf, like where it came from. Like, there's just nothing there.
What are you doing?
Just blowing air. That's the only way I can see anything.
Just blowing air. It just feels like the bookshelves.
What happens if I like reach my hand back there?
Reaching your hand, you don't feel the back of the bookshelf. Raazu, something suddenly grabs you by the shoulder. As soon as this thing evaporates along the floor, before you even have time to catch your breath or whip the gore off the end of your trident, you feel like talons. You feel this talon reaching out and grabbing your shoulder.
Uh-huh. Can I feel Raazu?
You're grabbing hold of something, but it feels very cold and slimy. It's not your hand feels very uncomfortable. Not the least of which because you can't feel the back of this bookshelf.
I'll reach. Like, at this point, this is Wendy, so she's probably gonna stick her head in there.
Her head?
Yeah.
Okay. And Raazu, you feel the talons. What do you do when you feel this talons grab onto your shoulder?
Try to push them off.
Just slap them away?
Yeah, I'm a little bit on edge right now.
Okay, so Wendy, that happens first. You reach out, you grab this thing, and this bony hand slaps your talons away. When you reach in with your head, you just bang your head on the back of the bookshelf.
Well, just to kind of like make a gesturing motion, trying to get somebody's attention, and I'm just gonna keep reaching around back there.
Okay.
Okay.
Raazu, what do you do after this thing grabs you?
Post strength to try and
Try and what?
yeah, opposed strength to try and break free.
Well, it didn't grapple you. It just grabbed your shoulder and you swatted it away with your hand.
And she brought it, and then it grabbed again.
No?
Well, I'm reaching, but I'm not.
That's
I mean,
what I'm asking. What do you do next? Are you just going to stand there? Moving? Swinging your trident around? Dancing a merry jig?
I'm gonna try and grab that arm that just grabbed on me.
And you whirl around wildly with your hand, trying to grab the thing, but there's nothing there. You're just whipping your hand through empty air. And Wendy, when you reach back forward, now you just feel the back wood of the bookshelf.
Reach out, trying to find. Who was it who had the book last? Was that Birdie or Red?
Which book?
Just the book that I was writing in before. I'm just trying to
think
find the
Birdie
book
took
again
it
so I
to
can write
transcribe it.
Yeah.
Transcribe it to something else.
Yeah.
And Wendy will find the book that Birdie has, and then just write on it with the charcoal. I grabbed something through the bookshelf, but then it slapped me away.
Hey, and what's next?
Like, so how are the bookshelves? Are they tiered? Like,
Yeah, there's several shelves in each of these constructions. 2 layers. They're both circular and completely empty, except you look at the far edge of one, and you see the scrolls that you burned laying there again.
I'm going to, I guess, climb into the bookshelf.
You hoist yourself up onto one of the shelves and you squeeze into it, and it holds your weight for now.
And I tap on the wood to get everybody's attention.
Never
And
mind.
Does that work?
Here's the tapping.
Okay.
And I grab the scrolls and I hand them to somebody.
Who are you handing them to?
Red, he's the closest.
Okay. And Red, he hands you, well, the scroll case that contained a bunch of scrolls that
Right.
Birdie hands out to you. And what's next?
What do we see? What does Adrex see Wendy doing? Does anything look out of the normally?
Scrabbling
abnormal?
with the back of this bookshelf. For a moment, you saw her reach her hand to the back of the shelf, and then recoil like something hit her. And then she banged her head, and then she reached in and is feeling around the back of the shelf again.
Adrex joins Wendy in grabbing the back of the shelf.
Okay. You both are just feeling the wood along the back of the shelf. Raazu,
Adrex shakes his head at Wendy.
are you staying in this room?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is there any light in this room?
No.
Or is it
No
pitch
light.
black? Okay, I'm gonna light a torch then.
Okay, you cut a light. And now that the room is a little bit illuminated, you're starting to see colorations on the walls and on the floors that weren't there before. Gouges in the stone that are darkened with something red.
And I'm completely alone in here.
As far as you know, there's not another pair of eyes peering out from the darkness.
You know what? Adrex lights a torch.
Okay.
Because he's gonna need one.
Oh, well, Adrex hasn't been doing anything. He's been blind this whole time.
Yeah. Since it turns out
So
everyone's got dark vision, but
You pull out the torch that's clearly been lit this whole time because otherwise you haven't been able to function.
clearly.
I mean, for what
Clearly.
it's worth, we can't read if there's no light. So,
That's
Actually,
true.
no,
You can't.
he's pulled out his Feymore. Of course he has. That's what he's
yeah,
done.
obviously. Come on.
And what?
I solved my problem.
Okay.
I don't know what anyone else wants from me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna move around each of the bookshelves again, knocking at the back of them.
Okay. You make a lot of knocking sounds. Raazu, you're going where?
I'm gonna start heading down the stairs and calling out for my companions.
When you get to the bottom of the stairs has a crude metal door. Like a wire fence, floor to ceiling. Blocking
Okay.
your entrance into the bottom floor. When you come down here, though, this door is standing slightly open, and you smell the smell of rot, decay, wafting in from that direction. Glancing around, you see where this metal fence, this gate structure, is pulled across the doorway and affixed with a heavy chain and lock to the right-hand side.
Okay. So I can't go this way. Head back up.
Okay.
I'm gonna head back up around to the library.
When you get back to the top of the stairs, the cloaked figure is standing there with his little ledger in his hand as usual. Standing right in your path.
Raazu stares at him. Says, "One side."
He asks, in his usual monotone way, "Have your studies concluded?"
Raazu ignores him, brushes past him, and starts heading this way.
So when you go to brush past him, what are you doing? Are you like pushing him aside or just trying
Basically,
to squeeze his
shouldering
shoulder?
past him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll initiative.
Rudeness will not be tolerated in the library.
That's right.
13.
No way to treat a librarian. All right, so all you're doing is shouldering past him?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of armor are you wearing?
Plate armor.
Oh, plate armor made of metal, right?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I don't like where this question's going, Rickroad.
What else would it be made out of?
Hopes and dreams.
Plastic.
Puppy dogs and rainbows.
Mahogany had some leather made, or armor made out of wood.
Not plate armor.
I thought it was coral armor.
That was later. Freaking coral armor. It matched my aesthetic.
Okay.
Crazy
As you
person.
move past the figure, it reaches out and tries to grab hold of you. You swipe your arm aside so it doesn't get a grip on you. And as you see its hands splayed out, you see, first of all, noticing that his fingers have one extra joint where they shouldn't. And second, they crackle for a moment with white light before fading. Where are you moving to? That was his attack of opportunity against you.
Yeah, no, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gets me there.
Okay. Doing anything else?
Dodge.
Take a dodge action?
Yeah. Raazu says, "Look, where the hell are my friends?"
The man's response is that hostility will not be tolerated in the library.
You're the one who initiated there, buddy.
I'm going to make him pink.
No, that's mine.
Hmm? No,
Oh.
mine now. You're green.
Oh no.
Raazu.
Hey.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to call that 5, I think. Yeah, 5 is fair. If I had a dick, it could be 6. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Rude. Ooh, 22.
22.
Yeah. I give myself my own +4.
You're not standing within 5 feet of yourself. That's ridiculous. 14 points of bludgeoning damage, which you can cut in half. As the creature says as it comes around the corner, that hostility shall not be tolerated in the library. You suddenly hear a clamoring amongst the bookshelves. From these 5 squares... I can't tab. Oh, I can't tab while pointing at Red or Birdie, apparently. Books start flying off the shelves. Some of them coming around through this corner. Some of them coming up and over the top of the bookshelves. And just start falling in an avalanche on top of you. You manage to take half damage and are not restrained under a giant pile of books. Those of you back in the quote-unquote real world...
It's real to me.
None of you are standing in the south end of the library, but you hear very distantly, like maybe if there was another library at the far end of one of these hallways, you hear the sound of thousands and thousands of books falling off their shelves.
Is there anything over there?
Going over there?
Yeah.
Make a... I'm going to call this a Wisdom Arcana check.
Can I make it untrained?
Yes.
So 6.
6. No, nothing over here. You do not see where the source of the sound is.
Adrex
Let's
shouts.
go ahead actually and get everybody on the initiative bar
Okay.
to make sure that we properly...
Okay. Let me get... There's me.
So we make sure everybody
Womp
gets a proper proportion of actions as I defeat Raazu bit by bit.
There we go. Right where I need to be.
Okay, so is this thing's action? So Wendy, you're next. So you hear this loud clamoring of books.
I'll bring my head up, and then I'm gonna write in the book that Birdie is carrying. How can we get to the Shadowfell?
You can't write all of that in 6 seconds. You're going to start writing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if I typed it, I could get that in there. Person who just typed very rapidly.
Raazu, you're next. So you're holding this torch, and you're standing amidst this pile of books that if you had not very deftly jumped to the side, you would be buried underneath them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move along here. Oop. Move along here and press myself as far away from the books as I possibly can against the wall right here.
Okay. No action?
And then I'm gonna dodge.
Dodge. And then Red comes around the corner and investigates the sound. And Adrex does what?
Adrex shouts as loudly as he can, Raazu, are you there? Probably to no avail. But that's Adrex, so...
So you just shout out, that's it?
Yeah. Raazu, are you there? As loud as he can.
What's Razu's passive perception?
11.
11. Nobody hears you.
Roll shout.
Raazu, you see the figure come around the corner. And he starts shuffling aside books to make a passage for himself. And as you watch, you're thinking that you have this nice obstacle between you and him. But as he approaches, the books pretty much part to make a path for him. And he moves
Of
unhindered
course.
through those spaces. And he's holding his ledger in his hand. And he says, "Payment is due for services rendered." And he stands next to you and holds the ledger out.
I take no services from you anymore.
It's going to bring us to... Are we missing somebody? Oh, Birdie's way the hell up here. I didn't even see Birdie up here at 30.
I mean, you should be used to it by now.
The thing is, what I do is I'm like watching the action on the map, and then I use the scroll to zoom out to glance at the order over here. But if you're at 30, you're always way up at the top of the screen.
Does this make you feel better?
It's your turn. What would you like to do?
So where's the sound coming from in relation to where I'm standing?
It's not coming from anywhere anymore. You heard it a few moments ago, like a loud clattering, like if one of these bookshelves had fallen over and all of the books had spilled out. And you saw Red run off in that direction, but it was coming from the southern portion of the room.
Okay. I'm gonna hop down off of my shelf,
Okay.
and I guess I'll start investigating this other shelf. I'll make it investigate. Like I'm looking for something to. I'm not really sure what I'm looking for.
Make a Wisdom Arcana check.
That would be a 21.
Coming around the corner, for just a moment, you think you see the southern bookshelf filled with mostly filled with books, but a large portion of it, the whole, like these couple of squares here, completely emptied out. So the books that would be sitting along this line are kind of falling over onto the shelf. It just catches your eye for a moment that there are books on the shelf, and you get this feeling that if you were to somehow concentrate on it, you might be able to actually interact with these books.
Okay.
That would require an action to do, and you just use this round's action to make that check.
All right.
Moving any further?
I'm just gonna stand in front of the. You said I saw the books here.
Yeah, you get the sense that the entire shelf was filled with books, but these two squares are now empty. And you're thinking, you correlate that with the sound that you heard. Like, yep, that was 3,000 books falling off the shelf.
Okay, and I'll make a. I'll wrap my knuckles on the shelf behind me, in a gesture, and that'll end my turn. It's like in a attention getting.
Okay.
Yeah, an attention getting gesture.
Windy, it's your turn, and you hear knocking on the bookshelf you're standing next to. Somebody on the other side of it.
I'm gonna try to. Are these bookshelves? Are they floor to ceiling?
No.
I'm gonna hop over the top of.
Oh,
the
you know
bookshelf.
what? Yeah, they are. There's only 12-foot ceilings in here, so yeah, there's 4 shelves. My bad. They are indeed floor to ceiling. You come around and Birdie's knocking on the back of his bookshelf.
And I'll. So I was able to hear him knocking.
Yeah, you can hear sounds here.
Yeah,
they
just
sound muted.
very far away.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just kind of like, because I'm trying to think to myself like, okay, well, it's a Shadowfell. So what we need to do is to make a shadow, right? So I'm gonna reach into my back, and in the most literal way possible, I'm gonna try to start a fire
How are you starting a fire?
with a torch, lit torch.
So you're gonna light a torch?
Yeah.
Okay, you light a torch, and Birdie, where her torch is casting shadows along the back of the bookshelf as you're sitting there concentrating. For a moment, you can see these books enter and exit. Like when a shadow falls along that part of the bookshelf, you can see the ghostly outline of a book, and when she moves the torch in another direction and illuminates it, it vanishes. That's going to bring us to Raazu. So the figure is holding out this ledger, and he's told you payment is required for services rendered.
Dodge.
Just dodge action?
Yeah, dodge action.
Okay. Red. Is Red muted because he was typing so furiously and somebody noted it?
So if Wendy is here, then the shadows are like along the.
Well, there's no shadows because this is a floor-to-ceiling bookshelf. She's on the other
Okay.
side with a torch.
Yeah, I'm gonna investigate the back of the bookshelf and see if I can find any like compartments or maybe like I don't know, like a chamber or something that would allow the sound to come up from above or below.
Okay, make an intelligence investigation check.
It's a 21.
21. And you do a good once-over at the back of the bookshelves. But you don't find any hidden compartments. You don't find any trap doors. There's no indication of where that sound could have come from over here. There's nothing on the floor in this area. Raazu, the creature begins lecturing you, and you hear emotion creep into his voice for the first time. Anger. Basically berating you for coming to this library and think of all of the things that you've learned and all of the knowledge that you have taken from here, and that payment is required for this knowledge. And I need you to make a saving throw.
Did you skip Adrex?
Did I? It's possible.
Might have.
I did skip Adrex. What did Adrex want to do?
Adrex thinks Wendy is the right idea. Start burning bookshelves with his Faymore.
So you just start stabbing the bookshelves with your
Yeah.
Faymore?
Yeah.
Okay. Without kindling, you're probably not going to be able to get like a big roaring fire going. I mean, think about holding a match to the back of or not even something larger than a match, like to the back of a wooden bookshelf. It wouldn't catch fire, but it would start to char and blacken.
Oh.
If you get some kindling together and build a fire on these bookshelves, though, that would do the trick. Red's probably got something in his pack. Why don't you reach in and find out?
I might have something in my pack.
Okay.
Let's look.
Also, I'm not totally sure this was Wendy's idea.
Yeah. Elda would have named that cat Kindling.
I buy that Adrex thought this was Wendy's idea based on what Wendy has just done.
I have a tinderbox. It's part of my adventuring gear.
Okay, so you're gonna start building a fire on one of these shelves.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's burn this place down.
Raazu,
Hey,
I'm going to need, I believe, a wisdom saving throw. DC
Sure.
is 16.
pass. Easy.
Pass. And for a moment, you feel this intense guilt wash over you. Like, he's right. You sat at his library for you don't even know how long. And you've learned so much about these battle tactics and this military history and these great goblinoid victories. And you feel your hand come off your trident, reach toward this ledger, and then you catch yourself and pull your hand back. And
Not
at that,
bloody likely.
when he sees that, he snaps the ledger shut. It's going to bring us to Birdie, who's up on initiative count 47 or something.
I'm going to turn turn Wendy around to where her back is her body is interposed between the torchlight
Okay.
and the books.
Okay.
I'm going to like position her, and then I'm going to go and try and touch some of the books and pull them down, or at least stick my hands in through the through here where it's already fallen through. The books have already like supposedly fallen.
Okay. Make a Wisdom Arcana check.
Uh, 28.
In the shadows of Wendy's flickering torchlight, you do manage to concentrate for a moment. When you focus on the shadows, you can see the bookshelves in this area here are still lined with books that weren't a moment ago. Can you reach out and take one?
I just reach out and knock as many as I can down in a single action. Just like not nicely either.
Okay. Wendy.
Yeah.
You are aware of Birdie reaching out and grabbing your waist and starts turning you around. So you're facing the other way. And then you're suddenly aware of he's not there anymore. You no longer feel his presence. Raazu, as soon as you pull your hand back, you catch yourself from touching this ledger again. You hear a loud clatter of books on the other side of this shelf.
Okay.
And Birdie, the books hit the ground onto the floor next to you. The first thing you're aware of is that there's no more torchlight or illumination, and Wendy's not standing next to you.
Even from Raazu's torch?
Oh, Raazu does have a torch. Birdie, it's like Wendy ran all the way around the other side of this bookshelf, so the light's coming from a different direction now.
That sounds like her.
I will walk over here and appear around the corner.
Peering around the corner, you see the scene where Raazu is backed up against the wall, and this hunchbacked, shrouded figure has this holding in his hand this black ledger.
Okay. All right. Bonus action or cunning action hide. Since I used, unless that didn't count as my action, in which case, if it did,
That was your concentrating on the books was your action.
right? Okay. So cunning action hide.
Okay, where are you hiding?
Just around the corner here,
I mean,
at the edge of the bookshelf.
You can make that attempt, but you literally just caused noise right here. You just knocked a bunch of books on the floor.
Right.
So you can hide there and make your check, but anybody who heard that noise will know where to look.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so you're just gonna duck back around the corner. Go ahead and make that check.
All right. That would be a 27.
27. All right, so you duck around the corner, and as far as you know, you're hidden.
Yep.
It's gonna bring us to Wendy.
All right, I'm gonna do what Wendy thinks Birdie just did, and I'm gonna head over here and like wedge this torch
Okay.
into this shelf, trying to cause this shadow here, and then I'm gonna try to push myself through the bookshelf.
Was this your geometry that you drew out?
Yeah, that's my light, because
Okay.
the light would go like that, and it would cause a shadow right here.
Okay.
Clever.
Make a Wisdom Arcana check.
Okay.
You can make this at advantage, though. Because you have correctly inferred how this is working, and you're setting out to do the same thing.
That's 20.
20. Adrex, as you're getting your kindling together and you're starting to build
Yeah.
this little fire, you see Wendy set her torch on this shelf and come back over here where the shadow of the torch is playing along the back of the shelf. And she pushes into the back of the shelf, and you see she just moves into it. Wendy, from your perspective, nothing happens.
What?
You touch the back of the shelf, and you're suddenly aware that Adrex is not next to you. But that's it. Other than that, you don't feel anything else is different.
I just see Wendy vanish.
You just watch her. I mean, you see what she did with the torch, and then came to the shelves. She reached out and touched the back of the shelves, and it looked like she walked through them, like into a space that's not there.
What the
Wendy, laying on the ground all around you here are a bunch of books.
Okay, so this must be somewhat different. So I'm just gonna head around the bookshelf.
As you
Pass
come
by
around this
red.
way, you can't pass into these squares. There's a giant mountain of books in front of you. You're going to have to actually climb up and over. Like a whole
Yep.
wall, like an avalanche of books. So you're thinking, this is the correct number of books I'd have to drop on Raazu if I wanted to restrain her.
I'll climb over the books.
Okay.
I'll run up the side of the books.
These 3 squares here count as difficult terrain.
Yeah, that's fine.
And yeah, Raazu, you see Windy climbing up over the mountain of books behind the shrouded figure.
Wendy, nice of you to join me.
And I'll hop down off the top of the books.
Okay, and the shrouded man steps to the side so you don't land on top of him.
Can I sense him there when he moves out of the way?
Are you billowing?
Yeah.
If you're billowing, then yes, you can sense his position there.
All right. Going through the bookshelf was my action?
No, it's just difficult terrain.
Not the bookshelves. Going through, not those bookshelves.
Oh,
going
setting
through
this
the
complicated.
bookshelves.
Yeah, that was your action, making that check.
Okay.
Stepping
yeah.
sideways,
And then
yeah.
So I'll just turn towards the man and say, "Is he hostile?"
Raazu
You're-
nods.
All right. That's my turn.
That's going to bring us to Raazu.
Raazu says to Birdie, or to Wendy, he's I don't know how to in character explain that I feel like that I feel like that he's taken my max hit points somehow with this book of his.
I'm
don't
not even
know,
sure
but-
if in character you even be aware of what's happening with the book. You just know touching it is bad news. You're aware of having
Yeah.
done it in the past and suddenly not wanting to do it.
Yeah, Raazu will say, "Don't touch his book. It's bad. It's bad mojo."
You got it.
And then she raise an action if this guy attacks her, she's gonna attack back.
Okay. Red. It's just you and Adrex here now. He might be muted again.
I mean, I didn't see any of that because I was just busy looking at the back of this shelf.
You heard Adrex go, "What the fuck?"
Did I?
Oh yeah.
What?
No, he didn't.
Wait, yeah, that's what I
He
thought.
just but you saw him mouth it, and Adrex. I'm assuming everybody knows how to read Adrex's lips.
Adrex is the most easily read.
Maybe there's like 4 phrases you can read from Adrex's lips, and that's one of them. So what's over here when I actually come over here?
When you come around the corner, there's a torch sitting like in this bookshelf, casting light against the edge of this bookshelf, and Wendy is nowhere to be found.
I'll kind of look at Adrex. See if he has any guidance or suggestions or anything.
Adrex makes a walking motion with his fingers and points at the bookshelf.
Okay, I'll walk into the bookshelf.
And you bang your head against the bookshelf and recoil backwards because it's a solid wooden bookshelf.
I'll look at
Adrex
Adrex
goes,
again.
"What the fuck?" again.
Let's investigate this side of the bookshelf for hidden.
Okay, make a Wisdom
Maybe.
Arcana check.
It's third. Wait, let me make sure. Wisdom is going to be 14.
14. Okay, and you poke around the bookshelves and no, I mean they're solid, and you don't. If you really worked at it, it would be easy to lift one of these shelves. If you had people working at either side, you could probably remove them from the back wall, but you don't see any hidden compartments or spaces. And Adrex is watching dumbfounded.
Okay.
He has a look on his face of a man who is absolutely certain there must be some kind of hidden compartment or space nearby. Adrex, what do?
Alright, Adrex goes over here and just stares at the spot where Wendy went through.
Okay, make a Wisdom Arcana check.
It's an 11.
An 11? For just the
Yeah.
briefest of moments, in the flickering of the torchlight, the shadows, more to the point, you think you see, for just a moment, Windy in the area, moving this direction. Like standing there and then moving away and around the corner.
Adrex just sprints full speed into the bookcase.
And you hit your head against the back of the bookcase because it's a solid bookshelf.
God! Adrex rubs his head.
Windy and Raazu. The man's form is, for just a brief moment, replaced by a film of silvery mist, and then he is gone. Raazu, what's your passive perception?
Passive perception is 11.
11. Okay. You have no idea where he went.
Am I up?
We can come off initiative now.
Okay.
I was just had to see if you were going to kill this guy, and if you were going to kill him, I wanted to make sure it happened fairly.
Raazu looks to Windy and then Birdie and says, "So I'm able to talk. Can you hear me now?"
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can't look at Birdie because he's hiding on the other side of the shelves, but you know where he is because he
Okay.
made a loud noise there.
That could have been Wendy.
Yeah, Windy, but you can hear me?
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right, I just heard some books fall over here.
That might have been me. I just came from that way.
Raazu probably trips over Birdie at this point. Oh, hi, Birdie.
Shh, can't see me.
Birdie, you still can't talk. I mean, you drank a cursed silence potion.
So we can... Okay, that's still there. All right. Raazu pats Birdie on the head.
I'm only single mute now.
Raazu pats Birdie on the head.
So the
Well, at
way
least
that I
we-
got through here was by making a shadow. So in order to get back, we might need to make a light.
Raazu gestures a torch in her hand.
Last time I did it, it was through a bookshelf. Maybe the bookshelves are the way.
Worth a shot.
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, Raazu will Raazu moves Birdie aside.
Just
then
picks
she'll-
him up and moves him.
Raazu will project the light kind of down here, these stacks right here. Oop.
Okay, these stacks are now mostly empty because all of these books got flung on your head, and then Birdie knocked the most of the rest of these onto the floor.
Yeah. All right, then scratch that. I'll kind of put them to kind of project the light down this way a little bit.
Okay, and books are just floor to ceiling, filling every shelf.
If I try to reach back there, does it any different than?
You
Just
wrap
a
your
bookshelf?
knuckles on the spine of the first book that you touch,
I'll move it out of the way.
and you pull the book off the shelf. Pull a couple more
Reach
books
back.
off the shelf, reach back, and you touch the back of the wooden shelf. And
And
it feels nice and smooth and solid.
I'll shake my head at Raazu and say, "Nothing doing. It's going to be harder getting back than it was getting here, I think."
Figures. Well, I killed something downstairs in that room.
That room. What are
In the
Larry and
vat.
Mo doing, meanwhile?
Adrex is focusing really hard on the spot where he saw Windy vanish.
Okay. And doing this for a few seconds, you don't see any books appear because there's no books there to see anymore. But you feel your vision, like it hurts for a moment, makes you wince. Make that Wisdom Arcana check again.
I mean, that could just be Adrex.
Does Adrex have object permanence?
He does, except for books.
It's a 17.
But you get the sense that if you were to focus there for a second, the bookshelves you'd be seeing are not the bookshelves that are in front of you.
Adrex gestures for Red to come over,
Okay.
and Adrex points at his head, like taps it a few times, and then points at the bookshelf. and makes a very obvious gesture to like stare at it.
Sure, Red will stare at the bookshelf while tapping his head.
Red, make that Wisdom Arcana check.
So 23.
23.
The
And you-
tapping works apparently.
Yeah, the tapping is absolutely was the missing link here.
It's very helpful.
And you get the distinct sensation that the bookshelf you're now looking at is not the bookshelf that's in front of you. It's somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. If I try and walk into it,
Adrex, you see Red walk into the bookshelf, but this time instead of running into it and bouncing off, he vanishes the same way that Windy did.
And Adrex follows.
And now you are all in the library in the Shadowfell. At
are there
exactly
still
4:30.
butterflies?
No, the butterflies did not follow you.
Okay.
We can be done with butterflies now.